Hello, it's Dr. Renee Harmon, author of Surfing the Waves of Alzheimer's, uh, Principles of Caregiving That Kept Me Upright. I've been blogging about each of the chapters. Each of the chapters in my teaching memoir are titled one of the principles of caregiving that I picked up along the way. So this week we're at chapter 3, which is entitled, If You've Met One Person with Alzheimer's Disease, You've Responded to One Person with Alzheimer's Disease. I wanted to name it similarly to the chapter preceding it, where I talk about that every person with Alzheimer's presents differently. In this chapter, I talk about the ways people respond when they hear a diagnosis of Alzheimer's and their responses and how different they are. So I've already blogged about these in March of 2020, and the links are in my blog, but there's a post devoted to how patients might respond, how a primary caregiver might respond, and how friends and family might respond. So today on the blog and this vlog, I want to dive deeper into denial that a person, him or herself, might exhibit when they are having memory deficits or when they get a definitive diagnosis. So it's a fairly common response. And it can be a helpful response, actually, if somebody is not prepared enough to accept that diagnosis or that something is wrong, so they can put up this denial until they're ready to accept it. It can be harmful, however, if it persists, because it might delay treatment. And if you delay treatment, then you're going to get less bang for your buck with the two medications that we have available now. So how do you approach that as a caregiver to your loved one who might be showing denial? So you want to approach them with gentleness and kindness and supportiveness while they voice their concerns. You might want to keep a diary of the things that you've seen, and you can show that to them as kind of proof. Instead of that, you might elect just to pick one thing and say something like, I've noticed that you've missed several of your appointments. Maybe we should talk to your physician about this. Something that they would know themselves, and maybe not necessarily give a lot of excuses about. And then again, it might not be denial. It can look like denial, but there's something called anosognosia, and that's a big stinking medical term for lack of self-awareness. And it's most common in mental illnesses like schizophrenia and bipolar disease, where they just don't understand that they have anything wrong with them. Well, this happens in Alzheimer's disease as well, and it tends to get worse the further they are, but it can wax and wane. Some days they know that they have a memory issue, and other days they don't. They would deny it. And I think Harvey probably exhibited both denial and anosognosia. And it's hard to tell the difference. You often cannot, and it doesn't really matter, but it's frustrating as a caregiver. I remember early in the course of his illness, I wanted to bring up long-term care, and so I brought it up. I thought we should talk about it, and he just kind of said, Renee, I'm not going to get any worse. And I just dropped it. And I just let him be where he was with the disease process, and I just loved him where he was. Thank you. Be well and try to keep that balance.